30 years in this hobby, 30 years of opening packs, chasing cards, and building some amazing collections. And I stopped. Not because I fell out of love with the hobby, not because it lost its magic. I stopped because standing at a checkout counter with $200 ETBs, knowing I'm going to open them and pull $9 worth of cards, is not collecting. That's setting money on fire in front of people who depend on you. And if you're honest with yourself, it's doing the same thing to you. This is not the hobby we grew up in. The game has completely changed, and most of the people still playing it, they're playing by old rules and they have no idea what they're up against. Let me tell you what actually happened to this hobby and why the smartest move you can make right now is to stop thinking like a collector and start thinking like an investor. This hobby used to be accessible. You walked into a store, grabbed product off the shelf, opened packs, had fun, and built a collection. The experience was the whole point. The cards were a blast. The joy of the pull was real because the financial risk was manageable. Losing $5 on a pack, not that big of a deal. But that world is gone. The average ETB today costs between $150 and $200, depending on which set it is. You know, and I know, we can't get this stuff at retail. And the average pull rates on chase cards in these modern sets, it means you can open 20 ETBs and still not find the card you're chasing. Do some quick math, that's roughly $4,000 for a chance. Not even a guarantee, just a chance. And the people sitting across from you in this hobby, those aren't hobbyists, those aren't collectors, those aren't even scalpers operating out of their trunk. Real money has entered this hobby, serious institutional level investment capital from people who have spent decades operating in financial markets that make the Pokémon TCG look like a garage sale. People with enough capital to buy entire print runs if they choose. People who can move prices in any direction they want to, and it'll happen before you even know a move ever happened. You're not competing with collectors. You're competing with people who do this for a living with resources you cannot match. And no one in the hobby is telling you the truth. These content creators, they're not telling you anything other than what cool cards are coming in the next shiny object set. Dealers don't tell you. They'll tell you silly stuff. Oh, I'll pay you 60% of that card because it's gone up so much recently. None of them want you to stop buying products, so they're not going to tell you this information. But I'm telling you right now, because this channel doesn't exist to sell you product. It exists to tell you the truth. Collecting at these prices, it's not a hobby. It's a financial decision. And if you're making financial decisions without understanding what you're up against, you're not even collecting. You're just donating. Every time you crack open a $200 ETB and pull $9 worth of cards, someone on the other side of this market is smiling. Not because they love Pokemon, because you just transferred your money to them willingly, and then you called it fun. I know most of you out there have people who depend on you to make smart decisions with your money. And the moment you look at what you're doing with this product in this market and compare it to what smart money is actually doing, you should be making a decision that can change your financial future. Stop collecting and start investing. And this isn't a sad story. This isn't a woe's me thing. It's the best decision I ever made in 30 years of being in this hobby. Because here's what nobody's telling you. You don't have to open a single pack to make serious money in this market. I stopped buying packs for fun to rip right around 8 years ago. You don't need distribution. You don't need retail access. You don't need to be first in line at a card show or even sleeping outside of Target at 3 in the morning. You need knowledge and you need patience, and you need to understand that the same market that is destroying collectors right now can actually create generational wealth opportunities for the people who know how to read the market. The cards are the same cardboard they've always been. The difference is who's in the room now and what they're doing with them. The institutional money that has entered this hobby doesn't care about the art. They don't care about the characters. Doesn't stay up at night excited about some new set reveal. It looks at this market the same way it looks at any other asset class: supply, demand, scarcity, timing, and exit strategy. And most of you are still approaching Pokemon like it's 2015, bringing crayons to a chess match. The collectors who are getting hurt the most right now are the ones who love this hobby the most. They're the ones who are in my comments saying, "I'm so happy, I'm just a collector and I don't care." It's the people that grew up with this hobby. The ones who remember when a booster pack cost $4 and a Charizard made you the most popular kid at the playground. The love is real, and currently it's being exploited in every single aspect, every single day, by people who feel absolutely nothing for these cards except what they represent on a balance sheet. I'm not here to tell you to stop loving Pokemon. I'm telling you to stop letting that love cost you money you can't afford to lose. Think about what a $200 ETB actually costs the average person. It's not just $200. Think about what $200 means for a family. It's a week of groceries, might be a car payment, a bill that might not get paid. And someone's out there cracking it open, pulling $9 worth of cards and telling themselves it's fun. Is that worth it? Seriously? Is that really worth it? On the other side of that transaction is someone who bought a case of that product at a much lower price, sat on them, and is now watching the value of that product compound every single month while you're still trying to convince yourself the experience justified the cost. That is the gap. That is the gap between the collector and the investor in this market right now. And it's not a small gap. It's a chasm that grows wider every single time a new set releases and the cycle repeats itself. The real money in this hobby right now, it's hedge funds, private equity, high net worth individuals who made their fortunes in real estate, tech, financial markets, and are now rotating capital into alternative assets. Pokemon is an alternative asset. And these people aren't doing it because they played the game as kids. They're doing it because the data supports it as an investment vehicle, and the market is still young enough that the returns are extraordinary compared to traditional asset classes. These are people who hire analysts, get consulting, people who model supply and demand curves on set releases. These are people who understand population reports, grading economics, secondary market dynamics at a level that would make most PokeTubers' heads spin. PokeTubers can't even find out a real price because they keep running the TCG player. And these people, they're operating in the same market as you are trying to collect in with your $200 ETB budget. You cannot out-collect these people. You cannot outspin them. You cannot beat them at their own game. But what you can do, you can join them. Not by matching their capital, not by suddenly becoming a hedge fund manager, but by adopting the same mindset, by looking at this market through the same lens, by making decisions based on data, timing, and strategy instead of artwork, love, and nostalgia. Or the worst thing, the dopamine of cracking a pack. Investors don't crack packs. Investors identify undervalued sealed product before the market catches up. They acquire it at the right price, hold it with discipline, and exit at the right moment. The investor identifies grail cards before the population report moves, buys them raw, grades them at the right time, and sells into strength. None of that requires a relationship with a distributor. None of that requires retail access. And none of it requires you to sleep outside a store or fight a crowd at a card show. I haven't gotten product at retail in a decade. It just requires you to understand what you're looking at, and this is a learnable skill. I built this channel to teach that skill. I wrote the #1 best-selling Pokémon TCG investing guide ever written to give people the foundation they need to stop being on the wrong side of this market. 30 years in this hobby into every page of that book that anyone can apply regardless of their budget. My private members area exists specifically for people who want to go deeper. $5 a month, real-time access, real answers, a community of people who are approaching this market with their eyes wide open instead of their wallets. I even have a deal right now where if you purchase the ebook on my website, you get a free month in the members area. The complete investing framework in this hobby for this market right now. And a real-time community of people that you can access for less than a price of a pack of cards, and most of you think it's silly. The 30th anniversary hype is real, and it is crazy. Every collector in this hobby is about to lose their mind. The hype is at a level we have never ever seen before since the inception of Pokemon. A worldwide simultaneous release. Every single generation of Pokemon fan activated at the exact same moment. Social media has been exploding. YouTube's being flooded with reaction videos. The community is going to reach a fever pitch that makes every previous release look calm. And the institutional money, it's already positioning. It's ready to go and just waiting. Well, your plan might be to fight the entire world trying to get your hands on a $200 ETB, if we're lucky enough to even find one. While most of the people will be out there trying to fight at retail, get this product, the investors are already ready with a strategy and already calculating their exit. That is the reality of the 30th anniversary from an investing standpoint. It's not a celebration. It's simply a transfer of wealth. And the direction of that transfer depends entirely on which side of the transaction you choose to be on. The collector sees the 30th and feels excitement. They see the cards, the artwork, the nostalgia, the event. You can see it all over YouTube. They see something they love and they want to be a part of it. And that feeling is completely understandable. I feel it too. 30 years in this hobby doesn't disappear overnight. But the investor sees the 30th as simply a data point. There's a huge demand curve coming. There's supply constraints. You can look back at the 25th anniversary celebration set over a 5-year period, and you can extrapolate what might happen with the 30th. There's sealed premium collections that will compound in value for a decade. There's a market that is about to inject an enormous amount of emotional spending into a finite supply of product, and you need to be on the right side of it. The 30th can be your moment, not to collect, not to crack packs and chase basic stamped stupid cards and fight people at retail. Your moment to decide once and for all which side of this market you're going to stand on is coming sooner than you think. This level of hype will probably not be seen again in your lifetime. It's not just going to spike prices for the 30th. It's going to lift the entire market. Cards you already own are going to go up. Sealed product you're already holding is going to go up. The rising tide of the 30th anniversary hysteria will touch every corner of this hobby. And the people who can position themselves before the wave hits are the one who are going to be carried by it. The people who are still trying to ride the wave by cracking packs at retail, those are the ones who are going to get pulled under and drowned. I stopped collecting because I realized I was always chasing that same wave. Arriving too late, always spending money to participate in someone else's exit strategy. And all I had to do was look in the mirror and ask myself, was this the smartest use of my money? The answer is an obvious no. The 30th anniversary is going to be the most hype release in history, and it's one of the clearest signs yet that this market has grown beyond the reach of a casual collector. When institutional money and global hype converge on a single release, the average person with a $200 budget is not a collector. You're simply providing liquidity for people with much, much deeper pockets. You deserve better than that. You owe it to yourself to do better. Stop collecting in this market and start investing. The 30th is not a reason to open your wallet. It's a reason to financially change your mindset. The link to the book in the members area is below. 30 years of experience, $5. Your family's going to thank you for it.